The chilling case of Elisa Lam. Accident or something more sinister? In 2013, the mysterious disappearance and tragic death of 21-year-old Canadian student Elisa Lam shocked the world. Her story remains one of the most puzzling and eerie cases in recent memory, sparking endless debate and theories. Elisa's final days unfolded in one of the most notorious hotels in the United States, the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, a place with a grim history already linked to violence, death, and mystery. The question on everyone's mind: was her death an unfortunate accident, or was there something far more sinister at play? Elisa's case has become the subject of documentaries, podcasts, and true crime investigations worldwide. But what really happened to Elisa Lam? As we unravel her story, prepare to question everything you thought you knew about what is real and what lies beyond. An ordinary trip turns into a nightmare. Elisa Lam was a bright, curious, and adventurous young woman. She was a student at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, who had decided to take a solo trip down the west coast of the United States in early 2013. She called it her West Coast Tour, and the plan was to visit San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Cruz, and San Francisco. As with many young travelers, Elisa regularly updated her Tumblr blog, sharing her experiences, thoughts, and feelings. On January 26, 2013, Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. At the time, the hotel had seen better days. Once a glamorous establishment in the 1920s, the Cecil had become a haven for transients and those who had fallen on hard times due to its proximity to the rough Skid Row neighborhood. But Elisa likely saw the hotel as a budget-friendly option for her stay, unaware of its infamous history. Throughout her trip, Elisa stayed in frequent contact with her family, making sure they knew she was safe. But on January 31st, Elisa suddenly stopped contacting them, and all communication ceased. Alarmed by her silence, her family reported her missing. The Cecil Hotel's dark legacy. To truly understand the atmosphere surrounding Elisa's disappearance, we need to explore the history of the Cecil Hotel itself. The hotel was not just another budget accommodation. It was infamous for its association with death and violence. Opened in 1924, the hotel was initially a glamorous destination for travelers and business people. But as the decades passed, the area around the Cecil began to decline. And by the 1980s, it was surrounded by Skid Row, one of the most poverty-stricken neighborhoods in the country. The hotel gained a notorious reputation, becoming a hotbed for crime, suicide, and murder. It was here that serial killer Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, stayed during his reign of terror in the mid-1980s. Austrian serial killer Jack Unterweger also made the Cecil his home in the early 1990s. The hotel's gruesome history of violence made it a magnet for dark energy and ghostly rumors. Elisa Lam, unfortunately, became a part of this grim legacy. The mysterious disappearance. When Elisa failed to check in with her family, a missing persons report was filed, and the Los Angeles Police Department began their investigation. They conducted a thorough search of the hotel, checking every corner they could access, but there was no sign of Elisa. Hotel staff mentioned that Elisa had been moved to a private room after her initial roommates complained about her odd behavior, but no one knew what had happened to her after that. As days turned into weeks, hope for Elisa's safe return began to fade. The police held a press conference on February 6th, releasing an eerie piece of evidence that only deepened the mystery: the now infamous elevator footage. The disturbing elevator footage. On January 31st, the day Elisa disappeared, security cameras in the Cecil Hotel's elevator captured her behaving in a bizarre and inexplicable manner. In the video, Elisa enters the elevator and presses multiple buttons, but the doors remain open. She appears nervous and confused, hiding in the corner of the elevator, stepping in and out, peeking down the hallway as if she's expecting someone or something to appear. At one point, she makes strange, almost frantic hand gestures, as though she's communicating with someone who isn't there. The footage was released to the public, and it quickly went viral. The disturbing nature of Elisa's behavior left people baffled. Was she being followed by someone? Was she experiencing a mental health episode? Or, as some began to speculate, was she under the influence of supernatural forces, haunted by the dark history of the Cecil Hotel? A grim discovery. A grim discovery. For nearly 3 weeks, Elisa remained missing. Then, on February 19th, hotel guests began complaining of low water pressure, discolored water, and a strange taste in the tap water. It was these complaints that led hotel staff to investigate the rooftop water tanks. When a maintenance worker climbed to the top of the building and opened one of the water tanks, he made a horrifying discovery. Elisa's lifeless body was floating in the tank. How did she get there? The rooftop was secured with locked doors and alarms, and the water tanks themselves were difficult to access. Yet somehow, Elisa had ended up inside one. Her body submerged for weeks. The autopsy and unanswered questions. After her body was found, an autopsy was conducted. The cause of death was ruled as accidental drowning, with no evidence of trauma or foul play. However, the autopsy raised more questions than it answered. Toxicology reports showed that Elisa had traces of her prescription medications for bipolar disorder and depression in her system, but she hadn't been taking them as prescribed. No drugs or alcohol were found in her system, ruling out intoxication as a factor. Could Elisa's mental health have played a role in her death? Her family confirmed that she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and she had been on medication to manage these conditions. Some speculated that she may have experienced a psychotic episode, during which she became disoriented and ended up on the roof. But how could she have accessed the roof without setting off the alarms? And how did she manage to climb into the water tank by herself? Theories and speculation. Was it an accident? Despite the official ruling of accidental drowning, Elisa's case has fueled countless theories, both plausible and far-fetched. Let's break down some of the most popular ones. Mental health crisis. Many believe that Elisa's bipolar disorder played a significant role in her death. Her erratic behavior in the elevator could have been the result of a psychotic episode brought on by a lack of proper medication. In this state, it's possible she believed she was in danger and made her way to the roof in a disoriented state, eventually climbing into the tank. Foul play. Others are convinced that Elisa was the victim of foul play. How else could she have accessed the roof without setting off alarms? Some theorists suggest that someone working at the hotel may have had a key to the locked doors and helped Elisa, or forced her, to the roof. Could someone have been following her in the hotel, forcing her to hide in the elevator, and later disposing of her in the water tank? Paranormal influence. Given the Cecil Hotel's dark history, it's no surprise that many believe supernatural forces were involved in Elisa's death. The bizarre behavior captured in the elevator video has led some to suggest that Elisa was being influenced by a ghostly presence, perhaps one of the hotel's many former residents who died under mysterious circumstances. Was she interacting with a spirit, or was she possessed by the malevolent energy of the hotel itself? Conspiracy theories. Some conspiracy theorists have gone as far as to link Elisa's death to biological warfare or even secret government experiments. They point to her last known Tumblr post, in which she expressed frustration over how she felt lost and stuck in her life. Was she somehow involved in a greater conspiracy? Though this theory lacks any substantial evidence, it highlights just how far-reaching the fascination with this case has become. The impact of Elisa's case. Elisa Lam's death captured the imagination of millions, but it also served as a grim reminder of the importance of mental health awareness. Her story has inspired numerous documentaries, podcasts, and online discussions. In particular, Netflix's documentary series Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel brought renewed attention to the case in 2021, further exploring the hotel's history and the mysteries surrounding Elisa's death. The case also led to widespread discussions about the role of social media and the internet in spreading and sensationalizing true crime cases. Elisa's Tumblr posts, which chronicled her thoughts and struggles, became a focal point of the investigation, offering a glimpse into her mental state in the weeks leading up to her death. But it also highlighted the fine line between public interest and exploitation of personal tragedy. Conclusion: accident or something more? The case of Elisa Lam remains unsolved in the eyes of many. While the official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, the strange circumstances, eerie elevator footage, and dark history of the Cecil Hotel continue to fuel speculation. Was Elisa's death simply a tragic accident caused by her mental health struggles? Or is there something more sinister lurking behind the scenes? As long as the unanswered questions remain, the story of Elisa Lam will continue to haunt and intrigue those who seek to unravel the mystery. One thing is certain: her tragic fate will not be forgotten, and her story will remain a chilling reminder that not everything is as it seems.